Okay guys, so here, this is just a fast and dirty way of, or video on building a major scale, okay? So, we're going to start off with the C major scale because that was the easiest to do. So I'm going to go like this. And we're actually going to draw a piano into it, okay? So, just to help us get a sense of what's going on, okay? Voila! We have an entire octave here, okay? So we want this section here, from C to C, okay? So what we're going to do is go from C and go up a tone from our 1, go up a tone, so semitone, tone, to D, go up another tone to E, go up a semitone to F, a tone to G, a tone to A tone to B, and a semitone to C. Okay? So some of you guys familiar with RCM music or anything like that might be aware of the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone formula, as I kind of have called it for a number of years. That's all we're doing. We're translating that into every key on the piano or on your guitar. Really, it's just a theoretic way of thinking, which is why it's called theory, into any key on any instrument, so we can speak to each other in the language of music. Okay? So for this to work, each degree of the scale has a number. Okay? So you have the first degree, the second degree, the third degree, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this one I either call the 8 octave or the repetition of the first. Okay? Maybe I should have done it color coded so that way you guys could actually see what's going on. So let me start again. Okay, there's more work than I was hoping for. However, let's get right back at it. So in the key of C, we've got C being 1, you go up a tone, D, 3. I talked about that already, right? So now let's take that same concept and move it to the key of G. So we're going to start on G and go up a tone from G. You skip one and you go up to A. And then you skip a tone and you go up to B. And you go up a semitone to C. And then the piano continues. We're just going to start from here again. So it's from C, go up a tone to D, D to E. Everything good so far, right? Nothing's changed. Except here we've got to go up a tone from E to what? E to F sharp. So you're from E to F sharp, and then a semitone from F sharp. Hey, check that out. Magically, we end up at G again. Okay? Let's do the same thing in D. Let me grab the blue marker. So we're going to start on D to E. Don't even know my own major scale. How am I going to teach this thing? Go up a tone from E to F sharp, semitone to G, to A, to B. This time the tricky one is B. Instead of going to C, you go to C sharp. And then from C sharp, go up a semitone, you end up at D again, okay? So I'm going to fast forward to a concept that some of you may be aware of if you're watching this video. You probably aren't, that's why you're watching it. But I'm going to erase this and kind of go ahead with some of the scales. I'll talk about the order of the sharps next, okay? I've got these 6 key signatures here. Now we're going to talk about sharps, okay? Now for those of you who may be wondering, why aren't the key of F sharp and C sharp here? Or for those of you who know more theory, wondering why it isn't complete, well, this is primarily meant for the worship team at my church, where I'm the worship director. And in modern pop Christian music, you don't really play in the key of F sharp, much less do you play in the key of C sharp. So these are the 6 most common chord key signatures that we play in, and so that's what I'm teaching here. Okay? So, order of the sharps. Let's talk first about the key of C. How many sharps in the key of C? None. So here's a little, it's not hashtag of hashtags, it's the number of sharps, okay? So the key of C has 0. The key of G, if we go through it, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, it's got 1, F sharp. Key of D has 2, we go F sharp and C sharp. Key of A has 3, C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. E has got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't know if you've noticed, but the F sharp has stuck around all the way through. So has the C sharp. So has the G sharp. And what we do every time is we just add 1 to the end. That's why it's the order of the sharp. It's a sequence that we're going through. So we have F, C, G, and D. Okay, and finally, as you can imagine, there's 5, F, C, G, D, and A. Now, there are a number of tricks you can consult, from Hal Leonard theory books to old and crusty professors at whatever university you'd like that will teach you all of these, or guitar teachers or music teachers at RCM or at any music store that'll teach you a whole bunch of tricks of how to remember this. The fact is, you gotta remember it. Doesn't matter how you remember it. If you just kind of spend a day repeating this over and over and over until you've memorized it, that's the best way to do it. It's because you want it to be second nature. You don't want to be remembering tricks. It's just got to be a knowledge that the key of A has 3 sharps, or F, C, and G, and you can play in that key at any point in time because you know that. Or the key of E has 4, the key of B has 5, whatever. Okay, so that's kind of hopefully quick and dirty on the major scale. So that was really fast, not a lot of explanation, just a lot of throwing things down, okay? If you've got any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you'd like to know more about or that you'd like me to go more in detail about, please leave a comment, send me an email, anything like that. I'd be more than glad to help you understand these concepts. But again, specifically speaking to the people from my church that will hopefully be watching this, I know that most of you are already aware of these scales and how to build them and that, so I'll leave it there.